Another day in the crypto market. And what we are observing right now is the price dropping. We are observing the fact that prices were showing us the possibility of a drop to the downside, and right now we see the fact that it got rejected from that level of resistance. Now, that's the short term chart. If you take a step back to see what really is happening, now you get a better perspective that can be related to Bitcoin, that can be related to the entire crypto market, that can be zoomed in view of understanding what altcoin market is about to do. A 10% drop in the altcoin market is going to be just a normal move in the market, whereas Bitcoin can actually show you two possibilities. One can be close to 8% drop or a 15% drop. Both of these are still in picture. That's not going anywhere. Right now, as we observe the fact that Bitcoin dominance is above a long-term level, that should surprise us, meaning Bitcoin dominance goes up when the market drops. We have actually seen this last time. If you look from May all the way up to June 2022, we have seen Bitcoin dominance increasing as the market got crushed with that Terra Luna, right? Now, as a matter of fact, when we come into the market, we kind of zoom in to see what really is happening, and then we take different steps to analyze what is the most likely situation. Here we are observing that the 20-day moving average is about to be broken to the downside, which means, like all these time, we may drop down to test a big level of support. Now that is for Bitcoin, right? And that's short-term horizon, looking at a daily and looking for supports. Right now, if you actually put that into perspective on a macro chart, it can show you the fact that, okay, maybe that's true. We are going to correct back down. It's okay. We'll still get a bounce back up to 28, 29,000. Maybe we'll come back up to test this range. We have seen Bitcoin putting the B leg above the previous starting point or close to that level, which still is fine. And then it can come back lower. So if that's true, now we are observing the really great opportunity for the crypto market coming into picture. Now, that's for the Bitcoin side of it. That's for the total market perspective. What about XRP? What is it doing right now? On a short-term chart with all the noise, what are we looking at? With a zoomed out view, the market kind of gives us a clear picture that it is happening. And one thing to understand is the RSI. Don't go panicking as the price drops, because it does give you a bigger picture, a macro narrative, showing you we do have possibility of a bounce like this. Last time when you got an engulfing candle like this, you bounced, right? You came back to the actual bottom, you bounced off. This time, when you are going to do the same, this engulfing candle can most likely result in a similar ROI perspective with the bounce off from that level. Look at the MACD. Last time the MACD was like this, was here. We were just about to go parabolic. Right now, we are at a similar territory. So look out for the opportunities. There are a lot of altcoins which are right now showing macro opportunities are just about to come. Macro opportunities. So if you have patience, you're going to actually see 5, 10, 20, 30x in your portfolio. There's a lot of different opportunities forming inside this market right now. We are following them closely and trying to monitor where we can enter, which will be the best entry points. And that would most likely be based on the overall market, especially looking at what the dollar is doing, looking at what Bitcoin is doing. This will guide us. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, as we zoom in, this is a monthly chart. So what you're observing is the fact that you got a bullish engulfing candle, after which correction is now materializing. So with Bitcoin being slow to correct down to reach a support, we will still see that shaking altcoins. That's not a great thing to watch, but it is going to be good for those who want to buy more of this asset. To dollar cost average into this asset, a drop can be helpful. So while you look at this market in general and then start to zoom in, you start to see different patterns. Now, you can actually argue that perspective like, okay, we are actually doing a corrective move like this, which may start the next leg up. And if we remain true to ourselves, we will actually look at this and say, okay, this possibility cannot be neglected. Why? You go into the same asset class, you go into Bitcoin, and you're looking at the different moves which the market is putting in right now. And you actually see these things materializing. Say, for example, Bitcoin, the wave one completed there, you came back down, corrected, and then bounced off for your wave two. Now, that correction after the completion of that wave structure came back just above the previous top, then it went back up. So that was your three wave structure to the upside. Now take that same perspective here and we can still put the argument like, okay, if that's true, we may actually test this range. We may come back down here, that still is healthy, and then go back up. So it seems like Bitcoin is leading the market. One way of thinking about it. Or you can say, okay, XRP is lagging right now with respect to Bitcoin. So while we reach this support, we may actually see a bounce going to the upside. Great. Now, keep that same perspective here and look for the stock market, because it kind of gives you a thought process of where you are right now. You had this pattern, the macro pattern, which you broke to the upside. Now you consolidated through that range entirely, and now you're trying to break through. But as of now, we're still getting a fake out. We're still inside that pattern. So now it's on us to zoom in and look for what really is happening. And what we are observing right now is not that clear picture where it's bullish, right? You got a higher high, but in terms of the RSI, you put in a lower high. So the strength does seem like it's reducing. So the buyers are slowing down at this point. So a lot happening in the macro structure with the banking environment can play a big role in this. And when we actually come on to VIX, the volatility kind of gives us a clear narrative. Like as the volatility goes back down, it kind of slows the market down, right? As we continue to the downside, it kind of gives us the ability. But right now it shows like, okay, it's trying to push back higher. And most likely, whenever that happens at a support, you see a reversal. You see that going back up. And when that structure goes back up, you will see corrective actions in the market. Now, this is a weekly chart, right? So when you actually look at this time horizon, where the VIX was traveling to the upside, which would be like 42 days, and from which time horizon? We're actually following this here. So that started from late Jan, and ended up here at March. And we have seen volatility coming back into the market, trying to push higher, some dropping hard. All of this does materialized in the market, gets materialized in the market. Now, while we zoom out for the same in macro perspective, we understand, okay, March 2022, when we are here, it's slow. The market is super slow. Whereas when we go back to the time when we actually saw massive volatility to the upside in here, prices dropped, hit the bottom. So that's back in 2020. Now, if you actually go back in time, you'll also see the fact that, okay, we got major corrections happening in the market after the bull run of 2017. So that started almost early Jan, say around first week of Jan, prices started dropping. And you'll actually notice as the volatility went up, we were dropping hard, right? The volatility was somewhere close like 48, 50. And even on the Corona time, you saw that at 82. Right now, we are at 17. Great. So it kind of gives you a clear thought process where we are headed towards. This is the trend we are observing. This is the pattern which we are seeing. And if that's true, you're still inside this pattern. You're still going to observe the fact that the price can actually go back up. The volatility is reducing. Prices slow down. And that phase here will most likely show us that Bitcoin and crypto market is about to slow down. And that's something in line with what we were thinking here. The macro pattern will still remain the same. It's not changing. This is the macro structure. If you actually take a step back, zoom out, you're still able to watch that the pattern is still intact. We have seen this over and over again, the rounded bottom coming in, then testing your patience with volatility and making you doubt the market, and then taking off, running back higher. So remove all this, just look at the price action and what the volume and price shows you. So right now, you actually have a candle which closed. Now, we can only look at what candle is closed right now and then look for what's happening in the shorter time horizon. So while we look at the weekly candle which just got closed now, we understand the fact that, okay, the price did not actually move much lower or above the previous weekly candle. That really is important. Why? Because the price actually shows the fact that, okay, this particular candle and the range of that candle is still intact. So how do you actually measure that? You look at the top of the wick, the bottom of the wick, and you look for that as a mother candle. And you put that question to yourself, okay, have we changed that situation? No, we're still inside that. What happened just before that is now more important. Before that candle, you got an engulfing candle here, which actually erased the previous gains. And now you are inside that range. So now you're going back and you understand the fact that, okay, we had a bullish move, but that got erased by an engulfing candle, suggesting we are about to run lower. And now we haven't yet changed that trend. So here we are looking at the market and stating this, okay, this is obvious. We understand the fact that we completed this move. Now what we are really interested is understanding how high we are going to go. When we bounce, if we come back to the recent top, then yeah, we may actually say $1 trillion is going to be a great base to look for, which for Bitcoin would be somewhere close to $23,500, $24,000. But if this becomes a traditional pattern where you're not going back to $31,000 in Bitcoin, instead you're getting rejected by $28,000, $29,000, then you're looking for this to come even lower. At that point, now you are putting that argument in, okay, I think Bitcoin may come to 21, 22,000 before it actually bounces off. Now, you take the same perspective, come on in the Bitcoin chart on a short-term horizon. We just want to see like the trend. Are we going up? Are we coming back down? What the hell is really happening, right? So as you keep that 4-hour chart in, we get an idea. If we zoom in, we'll say, okay, this is going down, it's trending lower. Then we zoom out and we get the perspective like, okay, short term, we may be going down. But right now, if you zoom out, this is what you're observing. We were going up, 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 up. And right now, this is just a leg of correction. And while we were coming up this way, we already saw that the market can be volatile. It goes up, it comes back down. But even during that correction, it did not breach the previous highs here, or it did not go down to that level, which is the bullish scenario. So right now, if the price actually drops, that is positive until you're not erasing this level. So if the price is not coming back down to test this range, I would say it's really healthy. Now, you can actually ask the question like, okay, why are we actually neglecting this range? That's a pure question. Great. Like what we saw here, I would say, okay, this is a fake out. The market actually tried pushing it higher and came back down. And the way I think that happened is like this. So that ABC pattern was a corrective leg. Instead, it actually put in a higher high, I agree. But we all understand the fact that Bitcoin does this stuff, right? We have seen this in the market over and over again. Bitcoin has put in a previous leg higher and then dropped back down. So while we look at that ABC and then look at the ABCDE, we get the understanding, right? Yeah, the big leg down, you actually saw the market doing this stuff, completing that wave structure. So most likely you started the next wave, and that wave is actually the impulsive wave. So you are now not looking at these ABCs. Instead, you're actually literally focusing on which direction the macro impulse wave is going. So if that's you, we're here. We are focusing on these assets, zooming in, zooming out, getting the right perspective to you guys on the right time, because I believe that is happening in the market right now. Most of the charts which we've dropped last 2 days, we are right now observing them getting materialized. Like as we started, we saw this and I was like, okay, if you are in here, understand the fact that we are about to drop. Now, as I was starting to record the video, we saw that, okay, that materialized. We dropped down. So it's not only about Ether, it's not about Bitcoin, it's about the entire market. Some of these assets are trying to hold on to a support level. Some of them are breaking through that level. That's important. So if you are looking for these kind of information, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.